Hey guys, thanks so much for coming back to my channel today. I know it's been just a few weeks since I posted. Really the month of September was kind of off for me. We got back from our vacation to Kauai and I've just been kind of off my game, but I'm back and it is October 1st and that means I'm here with my September wrap up and my October TBR. And I'm really excited. Fall is such a great time for reading, and there's just like a certain genre that I love to read in the fall, like fantasy and supernatural books. So you'll see a lot of that in my October TBR. So I just want to thank you guys again for coming back. Subscribe if you're new here. I'm a blogger. I have a blog. It's called Kindly Katie, and I do book posts and just lifestyle posts, and I'm hoping this month to just have a lot of great content for you guys, so be sure to check out my blog and my Instagram, and I'll have all that in the description box below. But without any further ado, let's just get into my September wrap up. So these are all the books that I finished in the month of September. So the first book I finished in the month of September is actually an audiobook, and that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. And I kind of went on a Rainbow Rowell audiobook kick this month. I honestly listened to 3. You'll see which 3, throughout the next few minutes. But Fangirl is the story of 2 twin sisters, and they're going off to college, and this is kind of the first time that they're on their own. And the main character, her name is Kath, and she writes fan fiction about the Simon Snow series, which honestly I'm sure that's pretty much kind of taken from Harry Potter, but she writes fan fiction, and she is just navigating through her freshman year in college, and she meets a wonderful guy, and it's just a very cute story about Kath finding herself and being okay with who she is and sharing who she is with other people. And the audiobook was great. I love the narrator of the same narrator has read all 3 of the Rainbow Rowell books that I listened to, and she is great. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I kept listening to the Rainbow Rowell books. But Fangirl was great. I think I gave it either 4 or 5 stars out of 5 stars. So very excellent read, very easy to listen to, and it was just a great young adult book. So I would highly recommend that. The second book I finished in the month of September was Dragonfly and Amber by Diana Gabaldon, and this is the second book in the Outlander series, and I have been honestly reading this book since January. As you can see, it has almost 1,000 pages in this like mass market paperback size, and I really just read it in sections. So I read I think about 300 pages at a time. So at the beginning of the year, and then over the summer I read about 300, and then I read the last like 300-ish pages last month, and it was so good. And I've been watching season 2 of the TV series while I've been reading. The part where Jamie and Claire are in France, that's basically the first big chunk of the book, maybe about half of the book. I didn't care for that. They're thrown into a lot of politics and a lot of scandal, and they are just trying to figure out how to stop this war from happening between the English and the Scottish. But they're not able to stop it, and so they end up going back to Scotland, and Jamie's fighting in the battles and Claire is being a nurse, and it's very intense. Lots of great stories happen, lots of great, like monumental moments happen. And the ending, I almost cried in the ending. I'm not going to spoil it for you if you haven't read the book or seen the show, but I almost cried. And anyway, so I gave this book, I'm sure, 5 out of 5 stars. It is phenomenal. I'm always intimidated by the size of these books, and I know Voyager is even longer, but I'm hoping to get Voyager for Christmas, and then I'm gonna start it next year, so I can't wait to do that. The third book I finished was Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell, and I also listened to this on audiobook. I really adored this story. It broke my heart. So it's about Eleanor, and she is a redheaded girl who's not quite comfortable in her own skin, and she's growing up in kind of a rough home situation, and she is in a new school this year, and she ends up sitting on the bus next to Park. And Park is a half Korean kid, and he's like one of the only Asian kids in all of Omaha, and that's where the story takes place, in Omaha, Nebraska. And they really just kind of come together and It's a very good coming of age story for these two teenagers, and their home situations and their lives are so different, but they're able to come together and be really great friends. And you know, obviously they have a little love interest there, but it was really great. Like I said, the same narrator from Fangirl also narrated Eleanor Park, and I really like the way she reads. She does it is a woman narrator, but she does voices for each character, and I just think that that helps like so much when you're listening to an audiobook. The narrator really capture, if they can really capture the story, that makes it very good. So Eleanor Park, definitely 5 out of 5 stars. A great coming of age story, and I would recommend it if you like YA. It's very good. The 4th book that I finished in September was Landline by Rainbow Rowell, and I also listened to this via audiobook, same narrator. This one is more of an adult story, so it's about a married couple, and it's Christmas time, and the wife gets a big break in her career, and so she, instead of traveling back with her family to Omaha to visit her husband's family, she has to stay and work on her, she's a TV show writer, so she has to work on her TV show. And her husband leaves, and then he's kind of out of contact with her. He's not answering her phone calls or anything. So she ends up calling him from the landline at her mom's house, and she ends up talking to her husband 15 years in the past, in the year 1998. And so she kind of is able to reconnect with him and kind of rebuild their relationship, and you know, see kind of where things might have gone wrong. And the ending is so great. It's just like a great romantic gesture at the ending, and it just makes for such a good story. And it takes place around Christmas, which is just so sweet, kind of like a Hallmark movie there a little bit. But it was really good. Like I said, more of an adult story, not really YA. I think I like the YA books by Rainbow Rowell better, but this one is still really good. I think I would probably give it 4 out of 5 stars, so definitely still a good read. And then the last book that I finished in the month of September is Rule by Ellen Goodlett, and this is my bookmark here. While I'm filming this, I still have maybe like 50 pages left, but I do plan on finishing this between today and tomorrow, and I'll be done by the time this video goes up on October 1st. But this I got sent an advanced copy for review, and this Ellen Goodlett, this is actually her debut novel, so this is the very first book she's ever written. And this is about, it takes place kind of in a medieval type kingdom setting, and there are 3 sisters, but they don't know they're sisters. They're half sisters. So these 3 girls are called to the kingdom, and they learn that they are all sons of the king. And this is unbeknownst to them. Like, they had no idea. Their parents never told them, and they've all been growing up in completely different situations throughout their whole lives. And they're called to the kingdom because the king's son was killed, and the king himself is also dying. So they are brought to see who is the most fit to rule the kingdom after the king dies. So there's a lot of secrets, a lot of, there's some blackmailing going on, and it's just a very interesting world. They have this thing called tithing, and it's where they can basically like use their blood to like have kind of supernatural powers. Like, they can be faster, or they can blend in with their surroundings or stuff like that, like magical powers. And so it's really intriguing storyline. I was kind of unsure that I would like it at the beginning, but the more that I've gotten into the story, it's very good. So be sure to check out my Goodreads profile to see what I rate this book when I'm finished. But that's Rule by Ellen Goodlett. And there is going to be a second book. It's already been announced, and the cover has already been revealed. I think it's called Rise. I think, don't quote me on that, but I think that's the next one. So I can't wait to continue on with the series because, like I said, this one's just very good, kind of medieval setting, and it's really good. So those are all the books I read in the month of September. That's a total of 3 audiobooks and 2 physical books. But like I said, for Dragonfly and Ember, I read over 300 pages. So that's almost a book in itself, even though it was only a third of that book. So that's what I finished in September. So let's go ahead and get to what I plan on reading in the month of October. So the first book that I plan on reading in October is A Love So Sweet by Addison Cole. This book I was sent for a review by actually the author. I've been reviewing a few of her books over the past couple of years, or maybe about a year. So she sent me this book for review. It's a new series that she has coming out. And this is one of her Sweet with Heat novels, and that's basically the actual author's name is Melissa Foster, and she's a romance writer, but she's under the pen name Addison Cole, and she kind of rewrites her existing stories to be sweet with heat, which means they don't have any excessive like graphic scenes or any bad language in them. So they're just, you know, kind of like, I hate to compare to this, but like a Hallmark movie. So they're very sweet, but still a little steamy. So this is a new series. I think it deals with a family called the Bradens, and this is the first book in the series. I'm not really sure what happens in the book, but I know that it is a romance novel, so it should be a very good read. So be sure, like I said before, add me on Goodreads or go find my profile. It should just be under Katie Rossi. I'll have it linked in the description box below, but follow me over there. Let's be friends. Let's talk about what we're reading, and you can see all my current reading updates over there as well. The second book I want to read in October, and this is really getting into my paranormal, supernatural genre that I want to read this month, and that is Lover Awakened by J.R. Ward. This is the third book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. If you've seen any of my recent TBR and wrap-up videos, you know that I've been reading this series and I am obsessed. It's about a vampire brotherhood, and just each book follows a different one of the brothers. So I've read the first two. This is the third one, and this is Zeta's story, and I'm so excited because honestly, for the first couple of books, he kind of creeped me out because he's very kind of scary and quiet and intense, but kind of at the end of book two, he meets this girl and they kind of start something. So this is going to be their story, and I'm so excited to read it. I think it'll be really good. The third book I want to read in the month of October is Fantasy Lover by Sherilyn Kenyon. So my coworker actually got me into the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward, and she's been trying to get me to also read Sherilyn Kenyon, and I had honestly never heard of this one either. This book is part of the Dark Hunter series, and all I know, my coworker just kept telling me that Sherilyn Kenyon bases her books off of Greek mythology, and that's all I really needed to know because it sounds really awesome. So, you know, demigods and gods and goddesses and their children, and I don't even know. I honestly don't know what it's about, but it looks good. It should be a quick read, pretty small. But yeah, I'll let you guys know if I like this. And I got this at a used bookstore a few weeks ago. It was like $3, and I know they had some of the other copies. So obviously, if I like this series, I'm gonna go back and pick up some of the other books. So stay tuned, and I'll let you know if I like this. And the last book that I hope to at least start in the month of October is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. I've been reading the Harry Potter books, honestly, for the very first time in my life. I'm a new Harry Potter reader. I've seen all the movies, but this is the first time I'm reading through the books. I am very intimidated by the size of this book. It's humongous. But it is Harry Potter, and I kind of know the gist of the storyline because I've seen the movie. I know the movie is not as good as the book, but I know the gist of it. And but I really doubt that I'll finish this book in the month of October, but I hope to at least start it. I'm trying to read all the books so my husband and I can go to Harry Potter World next year because I really want to go. So I'm trying to read all the books. And yeah, I really just can't wait. I've been loving them so far. So yeah, this is the next book that I hope to read. So that's it for physical books for the month of October. Obviously, I'll be reading some audiobooks while I'm at work, but it's very hard for me to plan ahead for those because I just borrow them from my local library, so I can't really plan on which book's going to be available at what time because it's kind of hit or miss whether you're going to get the book you want. So I kind of just browse around and pick something out that I like. I might listen to Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I haven't listened to that one yet, so that could be the next one I read. If you have any audiobook recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear because I'm very new to audiobooks and I don't really know which ones are good. So if you guys have a good series that I could listen to, or like a favorite narrator that you like, I would be open to that. So please leave your recommendations in the comments below. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave down below what you're currently reading, what your favorite book of last month was. I would love to hear. I love chatting about what books we're reading and, you know, what your favorite series is and stuff like that. So let's start a conversation in the comments below. I would love to hear from you guys, and leave it a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.